Lost one already. Okay. Make sure. Well, we didn't lose one, we gained two, didn't we? There we go. All right, that didn't work. Well, good evening, folks. How are you? I'm Russell Marshall, and I have a company called Arrow Educational Services, and I do consulting with school boards, administrator trainings. I've done over 200 in the state. I'm a retired school superintendent. I'm here tonight to talk to you all, though, about the qualities and qualifications and some of the things we're looking for, come on in your next superintendent of schools. Now, first thing I want to do is tonight I'm going to give you my phone number and I'm going to give you my email. And for those people that are attending this meeting virtually, I want you to have it also. I'll give it to you now and I'll give it to you at the end. My name is Russell Marshall. My email is Russell Marshall, that's RUSSELL, MARSHALL, 1958 at gmail.com. Russell Marshall, 1958 at gmail.com. I don't look that old, do I, sir? Huh? I saw you counting. I saw him counting in his mind, yeah. My phone number is 903-237-8154, 903-237-8154. So if there's any questions or comments you have after this that you want to make to me directly and privately, confidentially, you'll have that opportunity. But again, thank you for the opportunity. To me, one of the most valuable things you possess is your time, and you're giving that tonight, so I'm going to move on to the purpose of this meeting. First of all, you'll be able to comment any way you want to on things. We've got a mic here. If you don't want to come, the mic's hot.
Yeah, it's hot, but they need to use it for the streaming.
Okay, so people that are streaming, we ask you to please come to this mic. If not, if it's something really short, if you holler it out, I'll repeat it for the people. But first of all, what I want to know is, talk to me as we're making this profile, and you say, well, what are you going to do? Well, first of all, we've gotten input from employees, one input from community, parents, taxpayers, business owners, because candidates, when they start looking at your position, I tell boards a lot, everybody's running. They're running from something or to something. And so when we start talking and working with those people that are wanting to run to Little Elm ISD, they're going to ask a lot of questions like, what are the perceived strengths of the district? What are the perceived questions or concerns in the district? And so through a series of questionnaires and meetings, I want to be able to give factual and intelligent answers to that. Also, we're going to talk about, as I said, the good and then the challenges. Then I want to know what personal and what professional qualifications you'd want in the next man or woman that's going to be the face of your district and the leader of your schools. At the end, anything you want to talk to me about, any questions you have, feel free to voice it. And again, if you're not comfortable with that, I'm going to give you the other way. Because, some people feel like that, if I can't say what I want, I'll be judged or So, you may just be here to listen, and that's okay too. Okay, that's important to us. So I'm going to open the floor, and if we're here 2 minutes or we're here 2 hours, I'm here for you. And if shame on you if you wanted to say something out loud and you didn't. Okay, but also I don't want you to feel pressure to do that. If you want to catch me one-on-one later after the camera's off, this is your meeting, okay? I'm conducting it, but it's your meeting. And again, to the people out there streaming, feel like the telethon man, Russell Marshall, 1958 at gmail.com. Now, if I start giving my PayPal account, y'all check me, okay? 903-237-8154. Okay, talk to me. Talk to me about the good things. Tell me what's positive. Pretend like tonight that you're the only one and I pretend like I'm your candidate tonight, and you are the one interviewing me, okay? It's just us. And I've asked you, why are you proud? Why are you proud to be a part of Little Elm ISD? Give me the good things. What I need to know. Jump up there. Either come there or say it out loud and I'll repeat it. Not everybody at once either. I can't write that.
I like that in the district, a feeling of community is fostered.
Young lady said a feeling of community is fostered. Okay, family?
I want that, that's very important to me.
When you write that down, do family LE. That's one of our big things, family, Little Elm.
I saw that. I did that. Family atmosphere. Okay, you feel you have that now. Okay, sir?
I'm gonna break the seal so no one else is nervous.
No, you're Batman's who you are. Look at there.
If I have to,
For those
I have
that can't see the camera, he's Commissioner Gordon. He's put out the.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
I'm an overweight Batman. No, much like what Jenny said, and I'm gonna impress upon that. We are a very smaller community. We've grown a lot in the 23 years I've been here. We've grown a lot, but I came to a meeting 2 days ago, recognize a whole lot of people here. And the people that are out there, I know there's gonna be a lot of people online. It's chilly, they're staying home, no biggie. But we're paying attention. We want Little Elm to be the school that we don't think twice about. We want, what school do your kids go to? I've had a kid start in kindergarten, already graduate, and I've got two younger kids still in the school system. I want to talk to people outside of Little Elm and go, oh, kids are going to Little Elm. Go, oh, wow, I've heard these amazing things. I'm ready to hear that stuff again. We've got our problems. The person that's going to come in here is going to need to know how to defuse a bomb. And they're going to need to know how to do it. And I want them to know that the faculty is here, the parents are here, the board is here. We want to do this together. And again, it leans back to Jenny. It's a family thing. And for your first question, that's would be what it would be is we're here, we're family. We want to fix this. We want to be here for it. We want to do great.
You gave me a little bit of an answer to actually one and two, didn't you? You gave me some of the good and you gave me a couple of the challenges.
Yeah, I
Okay,
feel
but
like
that's okay. Let me ask you a question. That bomb that we're going to defuse, is it one that's got maybe a red wire and a white wire?
No.
Or does it have 44 wires to it?
No, it's going to have a rainbow of wires and a remote detonation in case you try to mess with
It
it.
may have a mood ring also.
Okay. All right, I'm listening to you. All right, well, those,
I mean, that's an exaggeration. I think.
understand, and that's
No,
why
absolutely. I think the problems that we are dealing with right now is I think we need some amazing communication. I think from the outside looking in, the parents, the residents, I think it's time for them to stand up and get involved and be more active and show up and put butts in seats or eyes on videos, right people, city hall, superintendents, everybody, get involved. Don't wait for something on the internet to happen and react. Stop being reactive. Be proactive. That's what I want Little Elm to be as a school district. I want us to start being more proactive.
I agree with that.
Can I make a statement and you tell me true or false? Can I sum up? You think people ought to be part of the solution before they're part of the problem. So what I'm saying is wait
I
till,
feel like
wait,
that's
or
a loaded
before,
statement.
before there is a problem. How's that?
Right, yeah. I think that people get very busy with their lives. I think people are working 10, 12, 14 hours. You got kids, you got family, you're taking care of older family, you get taking care of younger family. I think you get so busy, you forget what's going on around you. And then you go, oh, something happened. And then everybody's all up in arms. Then a couple weeks, maybe it dies down a little bit, and they ebb and flow again. I want Little Elm to be the trendsetter, proactive. Hey, we know that something's been happening for a while. It's time to fix it. Here's how we fixed it. Take a look, world. Look what we're doing.
And you do it without any wounds. You can do it then without,
You can,
Or with
I
minimal.
think you're gonna break some eggs a little bit here and
Yeah.
there. Everybody's got problems. The problem is, no, that's not the problem. I misspoke. The issue is you need to recognize them, don't defend, find a solution and move on. It's my father, God rest his soul, used to say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
That's right.
So, and then one of my other favorite quotes, and I'll get out of everybody's way until we keep talking, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I think it's time that we start doing something a little different. And I'll sit down. Thank you for the time.
Points well taken.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, more good things. What we got going? Yes, ma'am.
I have two kids that are thriving in the school.
Mother of 2 kids thriving in this school district. Okay, I think you're fixing to get.
I was gonna grab the microphone.
Enjoying it. Sports as well.
Do the Elvis move on, put that back to the side.
I'll just hold it
Hey,
there for you if you want.
you may still not get her, they got that high. Go ahead, you've got 2 kids
Project-based
thriving.
learning, STEM learning has gone throughout the different schools. I think that's a great win.
So
for
what
this-
is, say it again.
STEM learning.
Okay, yes. Okay, I'm with you, go ahead.
I think just that we actually have students that are thriving. The most important thing that I would say has been helpful for me, even having my kids go through it for my own personal situation, is teachers that truly care. And that's not all of them, but it is in every grade and I had even principals that were actively engaged and cared about us being a family and treated us like a family.
Goes back to kind of the first thing, the community thing, even though, when I first started, working with this district, or starting to think about it, it shocked me how much you'd grown. And I thought, because you still have that family atmosphere and you still have the advantage of that. And so, go ahead, she wants to say something along your point.
It made me think, I want to make sure, and I think a lot of people feel this way right now.
Okay.
I'm certain, because we all care about it. We got to make sure our teachers know how important they are to that family.
Okay,
And they're not in charge of making sure we all feel like a family.
how far, so that they make sure that the kids,
The teachers.
okay, what?
We need to take care of
But the lady said we need to also make sure that the teachers understand and know that they're part of the family and we need to show that we care about them as family. Caring teachers, so we started with caring teachers and we piggyback with care for teachers. And I always like to use the term, I said I retired after 38 years. I always like to use the word employees. We a lot of times we say teachers meaning everybody, but when we say employees, because we need the people that clean their schools and the people that drive their buses.
Take care of the childcare.
They need to know that they're loved too, and that they're not an afterthought. And so, okay, caring teachers / employees, and caring for, and I'm gonna put that in all caps, for employees. Okay, great point. That's good. All right. Other concerns on that? Other comments on the good things? Okay.
I'll do a comment on the good things.
All right, come on up here. Comment on the good things.
Yeah, I'll move it back to its
Move
original
it back
spot.
over there.
One of the things that I've really been impressed with is the dual language program at Little Elm ISD. My son, I have 3 kids in that program right now.
Wow.
And I have 3 more that I'm hoping will get in. So I have 6 kids. Anyways, my 3rd grader, I'm bilingual and I'm able to speak to him and have conversations in Spanish with him. Wow. And he's only in 3rd grade from the Spanish program. So it's been really good. I mean, he's not perfect, but he can talk and he can communicate. So I've been very impressed with Little Elm ISD for that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anything else on that? Okay,
I like the compliment thing.
come on. I told you 2 minutes or 2 hours. We're here.
So I apologize.
No, don't
So
apologize.
there was a post, I think a month ago, where a teacher took the time to show some of her class, he or she, I wish I had more information, it was a tire change. Took the time to go outside and show the kids how to change a tire. And if you don't know how to do that, when you get a flat, it's scary. There's people driving past you. They don't pay any attention. It's a crazy thing. And that leads me to another comment of, I would love it if the new person coming in would perhaps research more common issues that people need to, how are you an adult? How do you be an adult? You balance a budget. Well, I took a check writing class, but I was in school 800 years ago, so that's different now. But I learned how to do a resume. I learned how to interview. I sat down with someone and had to do an interview at 17, 18 years old. I would love it if people, as they graduated and go into college and go off by themselves, knew how to be a little bit more of an adult instead of just being thrown into the deep end. I think that there are common sense classes that could be given, much like the tire changing thing that we
Skills
talked.
for life. Skills for
Exactly.
life.
I mean, being an adult is difficult, and as you get older, it gets harder. So giving them a start is a great idea. And to piggyback on taking care of the teachers, someone brought up the other day that there's not really much mental health coverage for them. I would love to resolve that, because over the past 20, 30 years, mental health has become, it's always been a problem. It's more prevalent and talked about now. It's not a shaming. I've got mental problems, I'm mental. I get help. If I need help, I can get help. Anybody who has these problems should get help. And teachers, they should get more help or whatever help they need. And I don't know if this is pertinent to the conversation. Because Jenny brought it up, I just wanted that out there as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have kids in college, but my observation as being part of the Education Foundation, I have noticed that I do appreciate the forward thinking of the CTE programs in our school district, as well as even, bringing the CUTX partnership on site as well. That's I think, a huge win. A lot of the extra classes, and I think that, talking about the teacher, it was maybe something that she's volunteering on her own time to do. Maybe it's a club after school or something.
Wow.
So you've got passionate, caring teachers that really care about the district and care about their kids. And how do we make sure that those teachers stay on board with us?
So we want a superintendent. This kind of goes down into some of the professional qualities. I'll go ahead and segue into that a little. We'll bleed over to it. You want, one of the qualities you'd like to see is a person that's sensitive to the frontline workers, if I might use that. Because we've always, I always told people the only thing about a superintendent, the most, they just get paid the most. But the front, kind of like the generals, they're the ones, they're never on the firing line as much, but the teachers and the other employees that are out there, that's where the rubber meets the road. And so what I'm hearing here is you want someone that is shown that they can build a culture that of teamwork from top to bottom. Is that fair? Now, if I'm putting words in your mouth, if you say something, please say that's not what I said, or that didn't sound so. A culture of teamwork, top to bottom. I'm gonna draw an arrow with arrow on both ends.
Motivational, inspirational,
Motivator, okay.
people that recognize that it's important to build leadership from within.
Okay.
We've had prior superintendents that have did that.
Motivator, how about mentor? Can I use that word too? Motivator, mentor, build from within. You're up, sir.
Basically, I just want to echo some of the things that were previously said. Little Elm, we do have the true family attitude here. It's, to kind of put it in perspective, the town of Little Elm, even though it's now over 30,000 and expected to grow over 50,000, it has a commitment that always wants to keep the town attitude. So even though it's getting to be a larger city, they want to stay a town attitude. The same thing that the district really wants, and I truly believe that. We also have, along those lines with the family aspect of it, one of the, taglines, or I'm not sure what the exact phrase would be, but one of the standards that the district bases it on is all of our kids are all of our kids. I know that there are instances where you've had staff members from administration, from one school, from one campus, from here, there. They hear about problems going on at the other campuses, and they all rush to help. There is a tremendous amount of outreach from the district to the community. They try and get information out. They try and get help out. We do the Angel Tree program every year where we do the adopt-a-families. We have the parent learning academies during the year. We will bring in some of the maybe less fortunate families or other people who just may want to learn, where we actually come in and invite them in and go over some of the basic life skills and things with those folks. Along what Ms. Honte said earlier, when she was talking about the STEM program, we are the first STEM certified district in the state, and the second in the entire nation. That's something that we should be very, very proud of and should be trumpeting that all over the place. We have advantages being the size of a district we are, surrounded by monsters, and we need to take advantage of that. I mean, every single district around us are huge, if not growing to be huge. I mean, you got Frisco, Prosper, McKinney, Denton, Louisville, CFB, Plano. I mean, we've got nothing but huge districts around us, and we need to be able to capitalize on what we offer. We still do offer that small town setting. We're a 6A high school, but we're not a true 6A district. I mean, 8,000 students. Most cities in the state of Texas, or most districts in the state of Texas are 8,000 students. They're 4A. We're just a simple fact we've only got one high school. But there are a lot of those things that we can capitalize on. Some of the things that, as you said, that I think we could do better as a district. We have a lot of the community outreach, but what has happened in the last few years, and I know the board has mentioned this many times, what we need to work on as a district is more community invite, bringing the community back into the schools. We've gotten to the point now where we're on the cusp of potentially losing that family feeling and losing the small community feeling. And we need to really, really struggle and try to get that back, get more people back into the schools, get more volunteers, more parents, more room parents, more PTA involvement, more working with other community programs, churches, Boy Scouts, just different community groups, and try and get tie-in with them and invite them into it. The district used to also have the gold card or gold member program, I forget what the exact name of it was, where they would offer passes to anyone over the age of 65. They would basically give them free access or all access passes. They could go to any school event throughout the entire year free of charge. That's still there, but it's not promoted. So I think that's one thing that would help tremendously, is getting more people into the schools. Reopen the volunteer pathway, which has become a little bit harder over the past couple of years. I don't know, it was basically shut down because of COVID, but it was even kind of going away a little bit before that. But those are some of the things that we can work on. If we do that and get those people back involved, we may have more people participating in certain things. Just things like that I think would help tremendously. And that I think is something that I would like to see in a new superintendent, is not only the person that's willing to reach out to people, but also bring them in and say, here, this is what we need your help with. Come help us with this, and we're willing to do what we can. Part of the CTE programs that we've done the past couple of years, we had the drone program that, and I believe it's still in effect, but that drone program was basically put together by a professional drone pilot. And he approached the district and said, hey, I want to partner with you and do this. We've got a world-class chef that lives down in the Tribute. that he came into our culinary and he helped us set up our culinary program. It's things like that that in the past 10 years have happened and been amazing, but they've kind of tapered off a little bit. Another thing that Little Elm was the first to do is, and this is a program, is part of the culinary program, but it's kind of petered out a little bit. We were the first school district in the state of Texas that had our own food truck. And it was one that was gonna be run, or basically be operated by the culinary group, but then the special populations kids would actually manage it and run it. That program has kind of got pushed to the side a little bit, but we still have the truck. It's another program where we were thinking ahead of the curve. And it seems like that ahead of the curve thinking is taking a little bit of a backseat. Some things that have been really big in the past few years that should be on top of a lot of people's minds, where I still feel Little Elm has the advantage being a smaller district, but big enough where we can take advantage of things. When COVID hit, everyone knows it was a really, really big issue for districts in education in Texas. After spring break, when after that initial spring break, everyone went they always say they went spring break and they ended up having a 6-month spring break. No one came back to school. Little Elm was one of the few districts, the very, very few in the country, that following Monday, we were up and online with our students. Every single student that following Monday had access and could be online learning that day. Wow. That's something that is almost unprecedented, or was almost unprecedented at the time. When the next school year hit and everyone was going back to school, we were one of, I believe it was 10, maybe 15 districts in the state that were ready day one for in-person learning. We were ready to have every single student in the district back on day one. Granted, there's quite a few of the students decided to stay home, or the parents decided to keep their students home, but we were ready for it. Most school districts in Texas were not. When the big freeze happened last year, and everyone was shut down for an entire week, and you heard about all these, the schools and districts had pipes bursting and their buildings were uninhabitable, and they couldn't send people back to school. I know all of our big, huge school districts surrounding us, they had buildings that they had to shut down and they couldn't bring the kids back. We were back in school day one because we were small enough to take care of the problem, but we were big enough where we could put the people into the problem and get it fixed. So we're we are reactive, but we're reactive with a purpose. We see a problem and we jump on it and we find a solution. A lot of times, these are things that are done by the staff members, by the administration. They come up with the ideas, they come up with the solutions. I love that about that district. I love that about our staff, and that they think outside the box. And so that's what I would love to see encouraged going forward, is a superintendent, a leader that encourages the employees and the staff to think outside the box and come up with new items, new options. These options may not always pan out, they may not always be feasible, but never be afraid. An employee should never be afraid to at least bring the idea forward. And at the very minimum, receive the appreciation for being willing to bring that idea forward. And that's something that I would love to see happen, is that forward-thinking progress. I'd love to see it continue.
Okay, so after the president. Thank you, very well put. You see, some of these themes are really coming out, you can tell, right? I mean, you can tell clear. Those are the kind of things we want from this meeting, because now, see, we can steer some of the questioning and some of the recruiting that way. You know, I go back and when I meet with the board, you know, we're gonna talk about these issues. We're gonna talk about, hey, make sure in this process, and I work with them on their questioning techniques, and we're gonna make sure we talk about the family. I mean, that's hit me right here between the eyes. Yeah, we're gonna make sure we're talking about these, so good input, everybody, thank you. Okay.
Another positive would be, I have to say, the Education Foundation. That
Okay.
has grown over the past few years. They're doing a tremendous job just continuing to grow it and getting actively engaged with the community and getting other partnerships going as well.
Okay, her comment was a positive in this district is the Education Foundation and how it's growing and the positive effect it's having on the community and the district. Okay, what about, let's move on now to some personal and professional characteristics that you would like to see. When we start thinking, and, in any profession, as you start looking, you think, well, this is what I want, this is what, but in the superintendency, the superintendent is the face of your school district. He or she, their leadership, it starts at the top. It truly does in education. I told you a while ago, the rubber meets the road on these campuses. I always told my staff and the people I work with, we don't send these kids to school so we can have a paycheck. They send schools so that we can educate their children and keep them safe. And that's what our job is. That's what our goal is. And so the superintendent, that's the leader. That's where it all starts. And the true leadership there, and as they work with a team of 8, you've got the management side of the school district, and that's your school board, and then you've got the working side, which is your superintendent, and they work together. And so I want to talk about the professional and personal qualifications you want to see. Okay, yes, ma'am.
I got one.
All right,
I love what you did when you came in here. You are approachable.
thank you.
Are I feel comfortable and confident in saying anything to you. I would feel comfortable doing that privately. You gave us your phone number, you gave us your email address. That's important.
Thank you.
Just being able to feel that you're gonna be listened to, heard, being approachable. Dr. Monique over there, she gives her phone number away too. It's a wonderful thing. I may not ever, I have used it, but I may not ever use it. And she answered. But to know that that's how invested they are, that's a big deal. That translates into something.
And you know what? It goes back to my belief, and this is an opinion, so use it for how much it costs you, right? Nothing. When you go back to that family we've been talking about, that you can still do that in this school district. You can still do it now. If you plant the leader in Dallas, and I'm not picking on the new Dallas person or on Dr. Henry Hosa, a friend of ours, but they just got to survive each day, and they truly have to eat that elephant one bite at a time because there's so many elephants, right? Here, you can still do that. You can still, now, you can't, superintendent here is not going to know every kid's name. No. They're going to struggle to know every employee's name. But at the same time, if you know their face and that's going to be important. That's going to be important. Okay, approachable. Okay? Okay, hold on, hold right here.
One of the things I love about Little Elm is how diverse Little Elm is.
Okay, diverse, he says diverse.
Every way, right? Socioeconomically, racially, I look at my kids' friends, and it's natural that they have
Sure.
that kind of diversity in their circles. So for a superintendent, I'm not saying it has to be a person of color or anything like that, but they need to have that experience in a diverse environment. Right? I think that's really important.
It's important you started out by saying, what the word diverse meant to you, because I had a board one time that asked a question, said, define diversity, and how will you ensure it in our staff? And the applicant answered it so beautifully and said, well, diversity has many meanings. A lot of people, they first thing they think of is racial diversity. But, when you start assuming those things, there's things, obviously, we're different. 2 eyeballs can see, you and I are different, right? But if we spend 15 minutes together, we might find that we are much more alike than me and this gentleman are, who, with 2 eyeballs, look alike. I can promise you, me and this gentleman are a lot more alike than you'd ever dream. I promise you. Okay, so that's good, diversity. Next, you had a comment. Oh, I thought so. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, going to the approachability of it, of course,
Okay.
Any leader, we want them to have, be honest,
Okay,
have
honest.
integrity, be transparent.
Transparent, that's a great word.
From approachability, it goes back to what Dan was saying as well. Not only knowing your employees to the best of your ability, you're saying it's gonna maybe hard
Sure.
for them to know every single one of them, but knowing, having that approachability or feeling that they truly do, care about their employees. Take care of your employees and they'll take care of your people, and hopefully my
That's
child
right.
will thrive even more as a
That's right.
result of it. And realize their full potential that we say that we're striving for to be the destination district. I think from the approachability standpoint, I would say, we have a lot of community, some great, community, diverse community, whether it's, from all walks of life, that are willing and open to helping, but I don't think, I would say even from the schools that I have been attended, and my kids have only attended Prestwick and Strike, so that's the only perspective that I have. And then I have a little bit bigger view from, being on the foundation as a member. However, just speaking about our campuses, I don't think there's enough tapping into the community, to help with whatever project is. It could be as simple as, getting some more closet, the middle school has like a donation closet, or getting
Okay.
help from people to come up and help and do that, or I just think it's actively engaging the community.
Goes back to what he was saying a while ago. You've got, when you said there's a chef here and there's people that can provide wonderful resources or come up, and maybe there's professional singers here that would come up and talk to your, or be in projects with some of your, or band, there's a drummer out there somewhere just waiting to show the kids. Okay, so that really goes back to what he's saying too, the use community resources.
Correct. I mean, I would love to see, and I think would help with the teachers and some of the concerns that they're having is getting, and like, I don't know, I've seen other schools have like watchdog programs or
Okay.
things such as that. You're bringing the community in, and it doesn't always have to be, men, it could be women as well.
Sure.
Bringing into the community so they have another leadership in front of them. But what I am missing is, don't think that, and maybe it's COVID over the last couple of years, I haven't felt like, at least in middle school, it's like been embracing the community.
Okay, great point. More professional and personal characteristics.
I think,
Okay.
I'll say real quick, I think one thing that would be, that'd be a great benefit, because I think we're still small enough in the school district that they could do this, is the new superintendent to be someone who'd be willing to participate in the community also.
How about this wording, active member?
Well, active, but I say participate in other ways.
Well-
For many years, my wife was a PTA president of one of the elementary schools. And this was 4 superintendents ago, but every year when they put the fall carnival on, she would always have, every year, the superintendent, the fire chief, the police chief, and the mayor come out and be in the dunk tank, every single year.
Why do you bring that? That was put so far back in my mind.
The kids loved it. They absolutely loved it, but granted, the district started growing and still, but towards the end, the superintendent couldn't do it anymore. We changed superintendents. That one was not someone who really wanted anything to do with it, but we could always get the townspeople, but a lot of the superintendent kind of stopped doing that, and it became a non-tradition after that. But someone who'd be willing to get back out there into, and I know we are now 10, 11 campuses, fixed to be 2 more. I don't know off the top of my head, I'm sorry. 9, plus 2 more coming soon. So it is
To a
hard.
neighborhood near you, right? Coming soon.
No, actually, all around me.
I mean-
But someone who's willing to get back out there and visit the Fall Festival.
Yeah.
So someone who goes to the middle school basketball game, someone who goes to, the art program or the choir
Sure.
concert, the third grade choir concert or the PTA program. You don't have to be at every single one,
Yeah.
but try and show up to at least every campus once or twice a year.
Yeah.
At a community event where they see you, and that I think would work wonders.
What I tell young superintendents I mentor, there's more to a community than Friday nights in the fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, when earlier you said something, and this just kind of, I want to say this. We were talking earlier about, you don't know everybody's name, but on the flip side, there's only one of you. So everybody does know who you are. So what you're really saying is they need to be cognizant of that.
We're still small enough a district where everyone does.
They're-
know the
yeah,
superintendent.
that's
Our
right.
next door neighbor districts, I guarantee 80% of those people have no idea who their superintendent
Yeah.
is.
That's why I finally retired and I wore house shoes to Brookshire's one time. My wife chewed me out. I said, 16 years, you wouldn't let me do that, right? Because you are a superintendent 24/7. You truly are. And that's, okay, thank you, yes.
So one of the things that I've been wanting out of a new superintendent is somebody that is going to be united with our school board. Somebody that is not going to call out our school board members in public on public forums or get upset when you challenge their ideas. Another thing, I want them to have self-control over what they post on social media, not to give emotional reactions to parents posting emails that were sent out from the high school. Another thing that I would want them to do is to be able to create a good reporting structure with the teachers and principals so that they can understand the problems that the teachers are facing. One of the problems that I've seen in this district is there's a lot of bullying with the teachers to teacher. I've had teachers that have emailed me complaining about other teachers, and those teachers leave. And I thought that it was my daughter's teacher, and I thought she was doing a good job. And so I want somebody that will be able to pick up on those things, somebody that when you get a sub, I have a friend that subs at an elementary school, or used to. She had to take her son out of the school because the class was so bad for him, and they shunned her from being able to sub again, even though she had other kids in the school. And I know we have a sub problem, but I want somebody that's going to understand that these things are happening in our school district. Somebody that's gonna do one-on-ones with teachers and actually understand their problems and their needs and listen to them. Somebody that's approachable so that if they are having these problems, they'll be able to take care of it.
Okay, thank you. If it was 100, it was mine. I didn't know what he dropped. Okay, we've had great comments. Anything on, we've gone over the good in the district, we've gone over the challenges, we've gone over the personal and professional qualifications we would like to see. We've even added some things in that will help in some of the questioning techniques. Those of you that might have joined us late on your computer, my name is Russell Marshall. My email is russellmarshall1958@gmail.com, russellmarshall 1958@gmail.com. My phone number is 903-237-8154, 903-237-8154. Any other statements, comments, or questions or concerns you would have to me as the vehicle tonight? We got one and then one more.
I do have another comment that probably a lot of folks do not have this perspective, but just to give you a little bit of background, I've got a little bit more of a different perspective than probably the majority of people. I actually, as of 6 months ago, I'm a former school board member. So I'm
Okay.
very familiar with this. But I think one thing that we could definitely use in a new superintendent is someone that is very politically savvy. And when I say that, I don't mean small town politics.
I know what you mean.
I mean someone who knows the legislature, understands the legislature, can work your local representative, your local senator, and has the ability to have influence in Austin. As stated before, we are surrounded by a bunch of monsters, and almost every single school district around us has on staff someone who's responsible for keeping up with the state legislature. We're not big enough to have that at this point in time. So we rely upon the board and the superintendent and then the individual department heads to keep up with the legislature and new laws and things like that that affect them. For being a superintendent, you know that there's not a school board member out there that is gonna be able to keep up with every single law and bill that's going on that could potentially affect school districts. A superintendent cannot do that either. But they need to be able to know how to work the legislature and work their representatives. We've got monsters pulling these people in all directions, but we can't let them forget us. And our current superintendent had a pretty good working relationship with our representative and our senator, both of which are changing. Mr. Patterson ran to a new district, and Jay Nelson was recently promoted. So the new superintendent is gonna have to get in touch with, or get and build a relationship with both new parties.
But that's good timing. I mean,
Yes.
if you gotta do
Hopefully so,
that, then
yes.
everybody. can-
Absolutely. So that's something I think would be very, very big, because one thing that is often forgotten by the general public is one of the main responsibilities of the board and the superintendent is advocacy. And that is something that this district has sorely lacked in. That's not a shot at any individual. It's not a shot at the board. It's not a shot at superintendent.
Right.
We haven't been big enough to do that, but we're getting to the point where we have to do that. And that's something I think is extremely important.
Point well taken. Thank you, sir. One more, yes, ma'am?
I wanted to mention a couple things. One is just probably what other people were saying, just making sure that we have somebody that's a good communicator, but also the good listener.
Communicator and listener, okay, which
But is
listening is communication, right? Yeah.
empathetic to what's happening or at the schools or with students or with the parents or with the community as a whole. I would say, and any leader, and that's my background being in human resources, somebody who's humble, has humility,
Okay. Got that.
and courageous to go ahead and make a decision when it needs to be made.
Courage. Okay.
Speaking on behalf of a teacher, would be, I guess it would be just the importance of, and it probably was already said before, the team concept and the recognition that, I think what we've observed is that, unfortunately, a lot of teachers are very broken at this time and have had concerns with their health and their marriages, and as a result of everything that they're putting into the school. But I would say we need a leader that recognizes that family should come before the job.
Life balance.
Yes.
Okay.
Their own
All right, the comment was, putting it in a nutshell, is that superintendent said, and that goes back to your empathy. Your very first, the words used there is the empathy, that you want to have that. Okay, oh, compassion, yeah, I wrote empathy, compassion. Again, I got a text, so I'm gonna say my email again, because somebody said they didn't catch my email. So somebody out there is listening, and I appreciate that. And I ended in 1-5. 1-5, thank you for your input. And did you want my email or do you want my PayPal? We talked about that earlier. My email is Russell Marshall, Russell, Marshall, M-A-R-S-H-A-L-L, 1958 @gmail.com. Russell Marshall, 1958 @gmail.com. You can also Google Era Educational Services and you'll find it on there. But thank you very much. So this is working. Thank you, and you're welcome. Thank you for your positive comments. Yes, sir.
I liked what she was talking about when talking about the new superintendent. One of the things, it was mentioned that our teachers are hurting right now. And the whole work-life balance thing, it's thrown around a lot in the world. And I'm in IT, so the joke is balance your work and try to figure out your life. But a superintendent that we're lacking in teachers, we're lacking in subs, some of the things that were talked about Monday were the lack of the ability to go to doctor's appointments or, being just simply sick, but the whole work-life balance thing, and then building back our foundation of teachers and support systems, that's a big deal. If you've got teachers juggling classrooms together, I think that's important. I imagine we're doing more than missing teachers. I imagine we're missing administration as well. You mentioned the whole family is just employees of the school. I imagine we're light in those as well. I was talking to Cecilia today. Cecilia, yeah, okay, make sure I said that right. And she's busy. She's constantly busy. And just talking to the different people, he's gonna need to come in and realize that it's a rebuild year. I'm gonna break out the Cowboys and just say we're a rebuild year right now. We've got to bring in some good talent and right the ship. But I do think that that's gonna help with teaching, with stress, with mental health, with work-life balance. Teachers saying that they get done with school and go home and crash out from sheer exhaustion. Everybody's felt that. Everybody's had a day so bad that the only thing they want to do is crawl under the covers. I get it. We've got to fight that. We've got the people. Dan talked about volunteers and bringing people out of their houses and helping. Let's help them. Let's help the teachers. Let's help the superintendent. Let's rebuild together. We've got the opportunity right now. Let's rebuild LEISD together. Everybody out there, and I'm pretending to look at y'all. Let's do it together. I'm here for it. Let's text him, call him, email him, whatever you need to do. Let's come up with more ideas and rebuild LEISD together.
Well taken. Anything else? If not, I'm going to close it on that, but okay? Yes, ma'am?
Yes, being my HR background, how do you handle references?
Good point. Good point. No, how do I handle references or referrals on if you know somebody you want to apply? References. All right. We handle them, there's two ways, My dad always said, he could get a wrong number and talk 30 minutes back in the old days on telephone. We don't just contact who they give us, obviously, because, most people, I don't care if they're really, really smart or not very smart at all. They are smart enough to know that, who's in their corner. Again, we've done this for 25 years. I started in 1998. I've done over 200 of them. We're statewide. We have a lot of contacts. And the way I usually explain it to boards is I'm going to call until I know somebody that's not going to lie to me. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be you or you or you, but I'm going to scare up enough kin till either they won't lie to me or I'm going to know someone they won't lie to. Not meaning the applicant, but I'm talking about who we're doing the pictures of.
Fantastic, because
Yeah.
my concern was that we weren't gonna go deep enough. In my experience, you should go deep,
Yeah.
5 to 7 levels deep.
Yeah.
Asking the question, who else do you know that I should be speaking with? And those
Absolutely.
people that have actually worked with these people, have that experience day in and day out.
And one of the advantages of me is it's Arrow Educational Services Incorporated. So, I probably will ask some some questions that a school HR person couldn't ask or wouldn't, and I don't mean anything that would violate anybody's rights, but, and also too, we want people that are clean, but we want to know everybody's story too, because there's there's people that get raw deals places, and you want to hear the entire story. And I usually find out there's three sides to every story: my side, your side, and the truth somewhere in the middle. Probably a little closer to you than it is to me, but at the same time, we're human beings, and there's times we're gonna shade things a little more, or it's not that we're dishonest, it's just that's how we see it. And so you have to get enough input. That's why we want, as you said, send him emails, because the more I get and the more suggestions I get, the more it validates it. And so I think that's very important. It's a great question, and we continue working. I tell boards this: we continue right up until the end. We don't sleep on it. We work hard on it, and we don't always. My heart was broken when I found out just because it was on the internet, it wasn't true. I thought it's on the internet, it's true, right? No, but we have the opportunity to meet people and to hear their story, and that's what your board will be doing that. They will be looking deep into these people, and they will know their story, and that's important. Good question. Anything else?
I do have one other item is, I think the superintendent needs to actually keep the ratings and the star test keep that in check. And what I mean by that is, yes, it is important in the overall grand scheme of things, but it's not the end all be all. And a lot of school districts, a lot of superintendents are really starting, a lot of boards are really starting to look at it as what they truly are. Yes, in order to get funding, you need a certain amount of this,
Yeah.
a certain amount of that, you need everything else. But a school district not live or die, and a rating system does not define a school district.
Yeah.
And someone that is able to
Good point.
go out and explain that to the folks. We're a C district right now, but with everything that we've done, all the things that we've accomplished, we're not a C district. That's just what the test tells you.
Right.
And someone that's able to look at the real picture and still be able to explain that and communicate that to the folks that may just be test obsessed or rating obsessed.
Yeah. Or maybe one category that dropped, there's not a lot of difference in an 89 and a 90. But, oh man, what if, bet you couldn't tell that to some of the quote elite districts, could you? If they ever, God bless them, if they made an 89, right?
Well, in the past, since the last time the true rating came out was prior to COVID, every single school district across the state, their ratings went down since COVID hit. Now, they may not have gone down enough to drop a letter, but every single school district's ratings over the past 3 years have gone down. There's no argument for that. And so that's something that, again, needs to be put in perspective.
Okay.
And everyone's in the exact same boat on that right now.
Got it. All right. Other comments, concerns? Again, you've given me your time tonight. You've given the school district your time. Thank you very much. Last thing I'm going to tell you is going to be what?
Your email address.
My email address, Russell Marshall, 1958, RUSSELLMARSHALL 1958 @gmail.com. My phone number, 903-237-8154. Thank you.
And if you don't email or call him, you're not allowed to complain.
Ding, ding, ding.
From a comment from the peanut section with his hands across his mouth said, if you don't call, well, we're gonna leave that part out. If you don't email me, you don't have a right to complain. That's right. No, I didn't say it, he did. But thank you very much. Stay warm and keep the family first. Thank y'all very much. Thank you for the folks that kept the things going. Thank you.